Welcome back to Regen Rovers Revelations, the little side series that goes hand in hand with the main Regen Rovers series. It's been a while since I released one of these videos, but I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to make another Revelations video. Spoilers, by the way, we have been promoted to the Championship, so that's why I thought it'd be the perfect time. It's been quite a remarkable journey over the past 2 seasons, getting promoted 2 seasons in a row from League 2 to League 1 to the Championship. And I thought we'd take a look at the Regen Rovers universe so far. So who's won the World Cup, who's won Ballon d'Or, who's the best players in the world, who's winning the Premier League, La Liga, etc. Now I do tend to show the English domestic leagues at the end of each season in the recap videos, but I know everyone doesn't watch those. So, first part of this video, we will look at the Regen Rovers universe. Second part, we will focus on the club, on Regen Rovers, analyse the players, have a look at some of their growth over the last few seasons. Maybe I'll have a ramble. It's going blurry here. I'll have a ramble about players I should be releasing, positions I should be improving, etc, etc. So that'll be the second part of today's video. So sit back. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get underway. So of course, Regen Rovers will be playing in the Championship in our 11th season as a club after our remarkable promotion from League 1. But what is happening in the rest of the Regen Rovers universe? I'm going to start off by taking a look at the World Cup. So you can see since the start of the series, England and Argentina have managed to win the World Cup. England actually beat Argentina in the final of the 2022 tournament in Qatar. And then the North American World Cup, we saw Argentina beat Holland in the final, with England finishing third. So the Argentina team are rather good by the looks of it. They're second in the world rankings, behind England though. So we'll take a look at England in a second. But this is the Argentina squad. Messi will have long ago retired, I suppose. Argentina have some very good players. This chap, centre-back, pretty insane, worth £85 million playing for PSG. But Arsenal have Brian Issa, who was a striker, 32 goals in 42 games for Argentina. Looks rather impressive when you compare these players with the Regen Rovers players. Oh my, there's a big difference. But England are second, they're top of the world ranking, sorry. They've won the World Cup, they've had a brilliant time, and I suppose that's good for us. Hopefully we'll be able to produce some Regens one day, or sign some Regens that actually manage to get into the England team. That would be amazing. Manager-wise, they got rid of Southgate in 2020. Then Sean Dyche took charge for 4 years, and Luis Enrique has been in charge for the last 4 years. So Sean Dyche won the World Cup with England. That is hilarious. I've already taken a look at these England players actually, just out of curiosity, but there are some insane players in this team. If we look at the top capped players, Harry Kane's now got 141 caps at the age of 34. He scored 97 goals for England. He's still playing for Spurs, by the way. Dele Alli's still playing for Spurs as well. 140 caps, only one behind Harry Kane, and he's a couple years younger as well, of course. John Stones, 140 caps as well. I think he's the captain, in fact. He's playing for Barcelona. He actually moved to Spurs on loan twice, unusually, before moving to Barcelona. He's not been a first-team regular, but he's certainly been a first-team regular for England. Then we've got Joe Gomez, who's 31, 107 caps, and he's still playing for Liverpool, and he looks very special. But Trent Alexander-Arnold is on another level. Look at this. Every single attribute is at least 10. Heading is his worst attribute of 10. He is so well-rounded. He could play anywhere, couldn't he? 93 caps for England, only 29 as well. Still playing for Liverpool as well. There's some seriously good players. I mean, Lewis Cook for Bournemouth. He's picked up a hell of a lot of caps for England as well. Jordan Pickford's in there. Phil Foden. I'm sure some of you are interested in Phil Foden's progression. Jadon Sancho playing for Arsenal. Moved to Liverpool for £75 million. Then he was loaned to Spurs. There's some strange transfers going on. Liverpool just didn't play him. Doesn't quite make sense. And then he obviously went to Arsenal, but it's been quite bizarre there. But there are some regens coming through who are very good. Ossie Robinson, we saw him actually when we played Aston Villa. Very good player. Ryan Anderson is apparently the best player in England right now. He plays for Chelsea. started in Wales. And is he Welsh? No, he's English. He's got Scottish as his second nationality, but he started playing for a Welsh team unusually, and in non-league football. Wow, that is Welsh football rather than not non-league English football, but in the Welsh leagues, which is quite strange. So that's England for you. The Euros have been won by Italy, beating Spain in the final, and Holland beat Portugal in the 2024 final. Now, this summer is Euro 2028. Sweden are the hosts. These are the teams involved. So I'll take a look at the Euros at some point in the future to see who wins that competition. Wow, look at this. A North London derby in the Champions League final. Arsenal 3, Spurs 1 after extra time. Thanks to this chap, Savanovic, who's only 23. Absolutely insane player. What a final, though. We've seen some interesting winners. Dortmund managed to beat PSG last year. Since the start, we've seen quite a lot of English teams win it. Man United, Man City, Liverpool twice, and Arsenal most recently. And we've seen them reach many finals as well, as you can see here. PSG have won it twice. Atletico Madrid have won it twice. But Real Madrid and Barcelona have failed to win it, interestingly. Europa League, Chelsea beat Napoli in the most recent final. Let's have a look at the winners of this competition then. So since the start, we've seen Chelsea win it a couple times, the first one and the last one. Man United have won it, Valencia have won it twice, Benfica have won it twice, Inter Milan, Bayer Leverkusen, PSV have reached the final, Dynamo Kiev have reached the final, Everton have reached the final as well. We'll have a look at some domestic leagues then. So I tend to show the English leagues in the recap at the end of each year. So I'll just recap really the Premier League so far. So we've seen Liverpool, Man United and Man City win it. Only 3 different teams have managed to win. No, 4 teams, sorry. Man United, Man City, Liverpool. No, that's 3. I can't count. Spurs have finished second. Arsenal have finished third a few times. But they failed to win the league despite winning the most recent Champions League. Man United, the most recent champions, by the way. La Liga, we've seen Real Madrid, Barcelona win it. Atletico Madrid have managed to win it. I've not actually loaded any other league, so it's basically based on reputation, I think. So Bayern Munich and Dortmund have won Bundesliga. Ligue 1, PSG dominant. They've won every single season. Serie A, Juventus have won the majority of the titles, but Inter and Roma have also managed to win it. Let's have a look at Portugal then. So Sporting Lisbon have won it. They won it the first 2 times, and since then it's been Benfica and Porto. In Holland, we've seen a mixture actually. PSV, Ajax and Alkmaar have won it. Scotland, Scottish Premiership. So we have loaded Scotland. This was the most recent season. Celtic champions. They've probably won it every year, haven't they? Let's have a look. Oh no, Rangers have won it twice, in fact. USA, MLS. These are the winners of the MLS Cup. Should we take a look at Brazil? Why not? Let's have a look at Brazil. Brazil Serie A. Those are the winners there for you. I will probably load a few more countries as we progress up we're in the Championship now, but I'm still not able to scout outside of the UK. We just don't have the money to do that. So eventually when I have a bigger scouting range, we'll probably load some of the other nations. Should we take a look at Ballon d'Or then? Oh, Pietro Pellegrini, a real life player, has managed to win it this year. It just shows how young he is in real life, because he's only 27 in 2028. He's just picked up the Ballon d'Or. Let's go back to the start. So Messi won the first year, or 2018, and then 2019. Then Mbappe won it 3 times in a row, with Neymar finishing second. Belotti up there. Harry Kane beat Salah, and Cristiano Ronaldo at the age of 38 still managing to get into the top 3. That is incredibly impressive. He's ahead of youth development, by the way. He's not got a club though. What about Messi? Messi's an assistant manager. Likewise, he doesn't have a club either. Neymar, assume he's still going. 36 years old, still playing for PSG. So he picked up Ballon d'Or finally in 2024 at the age of 32, with Mbappe finishing second. Then, in fact, it's weird because Mbappe 3 times in a row and he's dropped off a bit. But he's 136 caps for France, 77 goals, still playing for PSG. Yeah, Harry Kane picked it up twice in the end. And this is when the regens start to feature. So the first regen and the only regen to win Ballon d'Or so far is Mauro Calacho, a Portuguese international for Man United. So it kind of shows that the regen dominance will start from this point onwards, but it is still dominated really by real life players up until very recently. And in this season, we've had a real life player win it. So yeah, it gets easier as you progress through this type of challenge where you're only allowed to sign regens. Of course, eventually there's only regens around. But for the first 10 years, let's say, it is tough. especially with the staff. Trying to sign staff members, there's certain roles which are very difficult to find any decent staff members. Footballer of the Year is probably quite similar, although we've had a different player when Philippe van Ransbeek managed to finish first. Julian Brandt finishing third. So actually this is quite different because we've seen Ronaldo actually win it at the age of 36. Salah managed to win it as well at the age of 32. Under 21 Footballer of the Year. So first 3 years we've got Rodrigo, the Brazilian, then Mbappe, Paulinho, the other Brazilian, Ndiaye. And then we've got regens, of course, from this point onwards. We've got a South African regen managing to win it. What's happened to him? He's 25, now playing for Sevilla. Herman Toy, Dutch regen, playing for Real Madrid these days. Looks rather special. Roberto Martinez, Spanish regen, playing for Atletico Madrid. And since then, we've got this Belgian, Philippe van Ransbeek, winning it 3 times in a row. He's now 22 years old. 20 goals in 26 games for Belgium. He's worth a hell of a lot of money. And he's a rather special player. World Player of the Year, that's similar to Ballon d'Or. It's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? World Team of the Year is this season anyway. One day we might have a Regen Rovers player on this, but it's unlikely, isn't it? Let's look at the overall 11. That's the overall 11, and well, the overall 18 from this universe to date anyway. Goalkeeper of the Year. Oh, we've got a Regen winning it, Lusamba. David Okore should be on there, definitely. Whilst we're here, should we take a look at the club list? So the highest reputation club in the world, or is this in Europe? It should be the world, but yeah, it is the world. We've got Brazilian teams on here. So PSG have the highest reputation. Then it's Atletico Madrid. They're quite far ahead of Barcelona. And, well, there's Real Madrid. But Liverpool and Arsenal, the top 2 in England. We're all the way down the list, of course. We're not even on this. That's for sure. We'd have to just filter out England. Financially, turnover, we can only look at England. But Man United, then Man City, it's predictable at this stage. Where are we? We're probably not even in the 92, are we? Oh, this is UK teams, actually. We've got, yeah. Are we on here? We're not in the top 100 anyway. So we've got a turnover under 425k. Which is below the likes of Altrincham and Burton, and Burton are in the National League, I think. Oh, they've just got promoted. Worcester, how comes Worcester have such a high turnover? It's really Dartford, pretty high as well. It's pretty random, really. Some of these. Brackley, what are they doing? Highest reputation leagues. Premier League is top, then La Liga. So we're going to be playing in the English Championship, which is here, 3-star competition. We're playing in a big league now, a really big league. I'm excited. So I've covered quite a lot there. We've taken a look at the major competitions and also the player awards. So for the rest of today's Revelations video, we're going to talk about Regen Rovers, the progress we've made as a club in the first 10 seasons, player progress over the last few years, talk about players maybe we need to let go, and positions we need to improve. I'll probably just ramble on a bit about that. But let's start with me, the manager. 36 years old now, still in charge of Regen Rovers. I've made progress and I'm finally studying for a Continental A licence. I got up to the B licence very quickly. But since the last few seasons we've had financial difficulties, the board have never allowed me to study for an A licence. I feel like you should be allowed to spend your own earnings on courses. At the very least, be able to spend it on courses yourself. I've managed over 500 matches now as well. Decent goal difference, 1,051 goals scored. And look at this progress. It really has been special, hasn't it? Since the Southern Premier League South. Well, we finished almost in the relegation zone, of course, but we survived, and then we managed to finish 9th and then 2nd and then get promoted in 1st place before winning the National League South at the first attempt. 13th in the National League, then 2nd and up via the playoffs before 20th in League 2, just about surviving, and then 2 promotions in a row. We can't see this season on it, League 1 of course, but it has been a dramatic journey, and we've also managed to win the Hampshire Senior Cup and the FA Trophy as well, which has been a nice bonus really. I didn't actually realise this was a thing. You can look at all the players from every season. I honestly didn't realise. How have I never clicked on this before? Is this a new edition? How many games has this been on and I've not clicked on it? That first season, Jeremy Cook best, 46 legend of the club. Morgan Fawkes, he's still here. Robin Grigg, remember him? Oh, bringing back the memories. Second season, there's some brilliant names here, aren't they? But David Okoro is the best of the lot, isn't he? I'm not sure how I didn't know about this thing. It's quite useful, really. I think it's showing the actual proper appearances as well, rather than just league appearances. Quite often it will just show league appearances when you click on a player's history. If you go here, for example, it's Elliot Averson, who's found a club, by the way. Good to know. But yeah, it just shows the league appearances here. You have to go down here to see all-time appearances. But on this thing, you can see everything. Raphael Godwin up there in 2025, 2026, David Okoro again, 27 David Okoro, and this season, David Okoro almost making 60 appearances this season. We'll start with David Okoro then, analysing the players. So, he has been here since the end of the first season. He joined for the last 5 games of that first season, helped us survive, of course. And since then, he has been truly magnificent. He scored 42 goals in all competitions from the penalty spot. He is still our best penalty taker. And this year, he broke his own record of clean sheets. 26 clean sheets this season. 22 in League One, which is also a record. He has been phenomenal. But he is only a 2-star player. And according to my assistant, he's surplus to requirements. But he keeps doing it. Every level we go up, he keeps performing. He pulls off brilliant saves. He gets clean sheets. He gets very good average ratings for a goalkeeper, because it's very difficult for goalkeepers to get solid average ratings. He must have sort of big matches. The hidden attributes of big games, important matches, must be really high. Consistency must be pretty high as well. And I just think he deserves his chance at Championship level. I always said from the start, I reckon he could go up to League One and do very well. And I wasn't sure about the Championship. This is his chance to prove me wrong. I'm reluctant to sign a goalkeeper, or a better goalkeeper. If I do sign a goalkeeper, I might try and sign someone who's like 18 years old and has a good future. But I don't want to sign an established goalkeeper, because Okoro, club captain, deserves his chance, doesn't he? I just think he does. Don't you think so? Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you think I am being stupid and trying to play him at Championship level. Let me know your thoughts in anything, on any other players, on anything to do with Regen Rovers. Stick it in the comment section below. I'm not going to look at every single player. I mean, Shea Skinner's our backup goalkeeper, and he'll probably stay maybe as third choice. We might sign a young player to try and rival Okoro, but not displace him. Hancock, he's going to be sticking around for another season. He's done okay. He's not been spectacular in his few seasons for the club. First 2 years, very good, but since then, not quite so good average ratings. And we've rotated the fullbacks quite a lot, haven't we? Now Matthew Averson's going to leave the club. He's been a great servant, but he's not going to be good enough for the Championship. Made plenty of appearances. Joey Curry will be. He's only 19. There's a few things going up. There's a few things going down. He's had a good first season. And I think he might be first choice centre-back with Lucas Long next year. Depends on if I can find anyone else. Now, I don't want to overspend. That's the thing. I'll just talk about Kevin Casey quickly. So he's going to leave the club as well. His contract's running out. He's been a good servant for 4 seasons. He's done well. Made over 100 appearances. Probably about 150 appearances. And he's been solid. He's done all right. Now, getting back to what I was about to say about finances. We don't want to overspend on the finances. We don't want to ruin the financial situation of the club. We've got plenty of money to spend, but I don't really want to spend masses. We've got 20 grand to play around with on the wages, so we probably want to focus more on that. But at the same time, I don't want to spend too much, because we've always spent well below the budget, and we've always had debts, and it's had an impact on the facilities. They are finished in September, and we don't want to go into debt before that date, because they will just get cancelled, and we will have to start all over again. By the way, senior affiliate, I've asked, this was the first time I asked for 3 years. But prior to that, I was asking every year, and we've never managed to find one. And we've got to the point, we're in the Championship, there's not much point having a senior affiliate. There's probably more of a point having someone that's below us, having an affiliate club below us that can feed to us more than anything. So we might do that at some point. We shall see. But getting back to the players, It does mean that there's going to be a lot of players sticking around that probably aren't good enough for Championship level. But I think the first season we just need to grind out the results, try and just about stay up, improve the financial situation of the club, improve the facilities, and then the year after try and sign loads of good players. If I can get lots of good players in on loan and I don't have to pay loads of wages, then that's great. Next year might be about loan players, which would be the first time for a long time. Dickie Strutton. Now, I think he's probably only going to be back up next year. I'm going to try and sign a better defensive midfielder. He's all right. He's done all right in his 2 seasons at the club, but not spectacularly well. Lucas Long, good first 2 seasons with the club. This year was actually very good in terms of his average rating, team of the year performance. Niall Whitehead, left back. He's our best left back on paper. He's done okay in his first half a season. Up and down really from him. Kenil Parsamore's definitely made progress on the training ground. He's up to 3.5-star reputation player. He played a fair number of games this season with a good average rating in the league. Cup-wise, dreadful, 6.4, but league-wise, very solid. So there's a chance he could be first choice right back next year. There's a strong possibility. Now, I mentioned Samuel Orsini in the recap. For those of you that watched it, I just love him. He's just been so good. He's been here since the National League South days. That first season he arrived, we got promoted. And he's travelled with us all the way up the leagues, up to the Championship. And every year, apart from last season, he's got over a 6.9 average rating in the league. He has been so special. He's picked up numerous assists, 53 league assists. That must be the highest. And obviously there'll be more cup assists on top of that. He's been a magnificent player, a really good servant, and he's an icon, but in my eyes a legend at the club. And he has to stay. He's so useful because he can play left or right back. He'll probably be third choice right back and maybe second choice left back. Depends who we sign really, but he's going to stay anyway. And Perry Miles, one of our own, the only player to come through the academy and actually hold a place in the first team. His average ratings have been pretty poor over the seasons, let's be honest. It's below average, to be honest. But he's always been there. He's made a lot of appearances off the bench, which doesn't always help with your average rating. And he's picked up the odd red card here and there, hasn't he, as well, which hasn't helped either. But loads of appearances, these sort of midpoint of his Regen Rovers career. Last year, not so many. Didn't feature as much. Didn't play particularly well in our promotion year from League 2. But this year, there were some really good games. There was probably about 4 games where he was excellent. And that boosted his average rating. There was a lot which was below average, I suppose. But still plenty of appearances. He's the second highest appearance maker for the club. He's the highest outfield player for the club, and I just feel like he has made so much progress. I haven't actually looked at the training progress of the players, have I? But if we take a look at since the age of 16, there's some things that have gone up significantly. There's a few things that have gone down, but look at this. Like there's 5s and 6s here. He has grown as a player hugely since he was 16 years old when he came through the academy. Maybe not as much progress as I'd have hoped in some regards. Like passing's always stayed at 13. It's on the up, but it's always stayed at 13. Things like vision though have gone up by 6. He's got 15 on vision, which is amazing really. So he's made significant improvements. I just want to look at a core out of interest. And what has he done since the age of 18? Yeah, he's definitely improved. Natural fitness has gone down by 4, strangely, but strength has gone up by 6. Vision's gone up by 7. He's got 17 on vision. You know, he's a sweeper keeper that can spot a pass. Can't really execute it though with 2 on passing. But strangely, he's not really improved dramatically in terms of his attributes. But he's always been this good, hasn't he? He has improved, that's for sure. He's definitely improved. And his leadership's gone up by 6, which has helped with his club captaincy. There's certainly like handling you'd have hoped would have gone up in his time. But we've never had amazing coaches, and that's one of the problems, isn't it? Vision is his best attribute. It's just so random. Let's go down then. Gus Owusu's still here, and he'll still be here next season. He's got 2 years left on his deal. I felt like we needed a bit of consistency. There's a lot of players that will be leaving, some that I've already mentioned. But Owusu's a good option to have as a backup. Can play in the lesser cups and maybe play the odd league game. He played plenty of league football this year. His average ratings in the last 3 years haven't been great. He had one excellent season in the National League, the year we got promoted. He scored 7 goals, 4 assists, very good average rating. last 3 years he's progressively dropped off a bit, I suppose, as we've gone, and he won't be good enough for the Championship. But it's nice to have a player that knows the club and will stick around. Wes Honor, he's been here a couple of years. Wesley, done all right, picked up a few assists, had a better year last year than this year, but he was competing with Patinama, of course. Toby Brazil, he's made a difference to the team since he's the record signing, by the way. Still, that will probably change in the summer. And this year, average rating wise, was actually his best year. Scored 7 goals, only got 3 assists, but played quite well when he did play. He was more consistent than Perry Miles, that's for sure. He's probably made a little bit of progress since joining the club. Let's see. Yeah, a few things gone up, a couple things gone down. Not masses of progress. Now, Wayne Burns, I think, is leaving the club. He just doesn't want to sign a new contract, which is irritating, considering he's done quite well at the club. 8 goals last year, 6 goals this year in all competitions, 10 assists. He's been our only natural right midfielder. So it's a shame that he's going to be leaving. So we'll have to improve that position for sure. Patinama, he's only 19. He's disappointed me overall. I was hoping for bigger things, considering he's got the biggest contract. His contract will increase as we go up to the Championship. But he's a player that will improve, and I think will be a Championship level player one day. He might not be quite good enough for the first season, but if we spend 2 or 3 seasons in the Championship, I think eventually he'll be an important player for us. Hopefully, he'll step up next year. And he is improving. Looking at his attributes, they're definitely going up gradually. Nothing's gone up by a whole point yet, but lots of things are going up gradually, as you can see there. Ryan Curtis has been a revelation this year. Last year was good, but this year even better. Less assists, but more goals. Very impressive performance. He's only 21 years old. He's young. Mark Ball is 25, remember, so Ryan Curtis could be the future. Mark Ball's still got plenty of time left in his career, but Ryan Curtis has youth on his side and he can improve. Hasn't improved massively since joining the club though. Grant Hunt, not sure about him. Too inconsistent. Scores the odd banger, doesn't he? But he's got 19 goals for the club in 2 seasons. He's mainly come off the bench, which is obviously difficult for him to make an impact. Hasn't made any progress, I don't think. Oh wait, 12 months. Oh, he's made... Yeah, actually he hasn't. Some things have gone down, in fact. But Mark Ball is the main man, isn't he? What a legend. 97 goals for the club in 3 seasons. He's our second all-time top goal scorer. And his average ratings have been magnificent. He's pulled off assists as well. He has been really special. And he has improved in the last couple of years since joining the club. So some things have gone up. Vision's gone up by 2. Long shots has gone up. Corners, composure, which is useful for a striker, of course. But he was a good player. He was a finished product already when he joined Regen Rovers. And I think he'll be good enough for the Championship. He's fast. He knows where the back of the net is. He should score goals at Championship level. I don't think he'd be good enough for the Premier League. But you never know. And Agu. Let's talk about Agu. Mark Hull will leave, by the way. He's going to leave in the summer. 32 goals for the club. Agu, all-time top goal scorer. 117 goals for the club. 3rd highest number of appearances for the club. Joined us at the end of that first season at the same time as Okoro. Played 3 times and got an assist. He didn't score that season, unfortunately, but that was right at the end. Ever since then, he has scored every single season. He scored 1 goal in League 2, but didn't score in League 1, unfortunately. So that's the only division he has failed to score in so far. Be great if he can score in the Championship, though. That would be special. What a legend. How's he improved? Let's have a look. So, since the age of 17, there's a few things that have gone down, but finishing has kind of fluctuated between 13 and 14, I think. Anticipation's gone up by 7. Leadership has gone up by 5. Off the ball has gone up by 7. That is remarkable. Jumping reach has gone up. He knows how to jump, that's for sure. Technique, penalty taken's actually... He's level with Okoro on penalty taken these days. But yeah, he's except finishing has fluctuated a lot between 13 to 14, just gone up and down between those two. It's gone as low as 12.8 actually, and at the moment it's at 14 exactly. He started on 14.2 though. What a legend, all-time top goal scorer. We'll have a quick look at some of the under-23s. Rob Halliday's been around a long old time. He's on a non-contract, so he'll just stay until he wants to leave, I suppose. Same with a lot of players, Sampson as well. Sean Walker on a non-contract, but legend. Was such an important player in the Southern Premier South. Probably our best player at that point, in fact. And he's still here and he still appears. He actually made 3 league appearances this year as well. 6 appearances in all competitions as a really loud motorbike goes past. It's a bit annoying. His average ratings are atrocious, but he's a legend, isn't he? I don't know how much he's progressed over the years since the age of 19 when he joined. I think he was 18 when he joined, actually. Yeah, a few things have gone down. A few things have gone up. He's 26 years old now. He's still got 14 on passing and 11 on vision. Can still pick out a pass, that's for sure. Ray Rigg, the man with the wig. He's 26 as well. Half a star current ability. But once again, kind of a legend is in his own way. Never performed amazingly well, but he knew how to take a free kick, didn't he? Hasn't really featured. Last 3 seasons he's played in the Hampshire Senior Cup. Actually scored 3 years ago. Didn't score last year or this year. Picked up an assist though from a free kick from what I can remember. And he's going to stay at the club until he wants to leave as well. I'm not going to release him because he doesn't cost any money. And it's kind of nice hanging on to them. If they leave, they just retire. It's just 90% of the players we release retire. That's just the way it is. And lastly, Morgan Fawkes. Our top goal scorer in that very first season, 24 goals. I don't know if he'll get in a testimonial. I don't think so because he's not played enough games. But even though he's been here 10 years, he did play twice this season. In fact, when was his last goal? It was in the Well, it wasn't in the National League. It was in a cup competition whilst we were in the National League. His last league goal was in the National League South. So it's a long time since he was a top quality player for us, I'm afraid. His level is Southern Premier South, really. And even, the last couple seasons there, he was kind of out of sorts. It was the first 2 seasons he was important for us when we were in a scrap at the bottom of the National League South. He's 27 years old now. He's still here. Amazing. I don't think there's really any young players coming through that are special. Tyler Cherrett has a very good personality. He's a perfectionist. And he should reach that potential, but it's not going to be good enough. Scored plenty of goals though at this level. Charlie Farrer as well. He's come through and he's done okay. He's done well at youth level, but he's not going to be good enough. Same with Ben Ball. I fancied him to be a good player at one point. We're in the National League. I think he'd have been good enough for the National League by now, but he's not made as much progress as I'd hoped. And the problem is we just don't have the facilities, the coaches. We don't have the ability to really improve these players, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. And eventually, hopefully we will. But by that point, it might be too late. It might be the end of the series. In the youth team, I've only signed like 2 players this in the last youth intake. Who are they? I think Jeff Dickens and Russell Brooks. But there's no point signing players that just aren't good enough. They take up wages, facilities, etc. Lee Bridges is the best player in the under-18s, but he's 18 now, so probably go up to the under-23s anyway. So that's the team. That's the improvements that some of the players have made. Now, next season, positions we need to improve. Now, like I've said, I don't want to spoil Okoro's party. He deserves to be number 1. But I'll probably sign a 17 or 18-year-old youngster who's similar ability and can progress and maybe take us forward in the future. I will be on the lookout for as many good loan signings from the Premier League as possible. Any players that want to join me that are better than what we have, I'll let them join as long as the wages are okay. Because I'm thinking maybe Joey Curry and Lucas Long will be our second choice back line if we can find 2 better centre backs. Maybe that's harsh on Curry and Long, both League One players of the season, but if we can find improvements, then I think I need to improve upon them. I think we're going to be doing a lot of defending next season. Likewise with the fullbacks. On paper, Whitehead is our best left back, but I don't really fancy him in the Championship, really. And Passmore as well. I don't know. We might have to put up with that though. Like I've said, money-wise, we need to focus on trying to save as much as possible and building. We can't expect to fly up the Championship next year. We're going to be in a relegation scrap. Surely we're going to be in a relegation scrap. Even with the tactic that seems to have worked miracles, but I think it's coming to the end of its life. It's not quite so free flowing, and although it's worked in League One, I just don't think it would be as successful in the Championship, but time will tell. So defensively, I can probably improve every single player. I might not though. It really just depends. I've struggled to find really good defenders on the game over the years. It's probably the area of the team that I've struggled to improve really. Midfield wise, I'm going to get a better defensive midfielder. Dickie Strutton will be second choice. In the central midfield, Toby Brazil I'm happy with, but if we can find a better player, then I'll definitely grab one. Toby Brazil will be second choice. The likes of Premels and Owusu can come in when required. They might drop into defensive midfield if need be. They'll play the cup competitions. Wayne Burns is leaving, so we need to sign 2 right midfielders, I think. Left midfield, though, Patanam I think would do a job. And Wes Honor will be an okay backup. That's okay. I'll let his contract run out next year. I don't think he's ever going to reach this potential. He's only 21, but with the facilities we've had, as I've said, I don't think he'll reach that potential. And then up front, Mark Ball, he's going to play, obviously. He deserves his chance. Ryan Curtis does deserve his chance, but if there's an option to sign either a player on a free or a better striker on loan, then I think I have to grab that opportunity. But if I can't find anyone, then Ryan Curtis definitely deserves to start up front alongside Mark Ball. And then we'll have Grant Hunter's backup, who's okay. He's pacey, he's fast acceleration-wise. And Agu, he's just that token substitute, that player that we can just reminisce about. And he's the only one really there now. Okoro, you could say, yes, it's kind of for nostalgic reasons that he's still a goalkeeper, but it's not. He actually performs. He deserves his chances, number one. So I'm not being nostalgic by keeping Okoro in goal, I don't think. He deserves it. But like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I haven't really shown the staff for a long time in great detail. Mainly because, as I've said, we don't have the best staff. There's me as manager. We've got our new assistant manager, Dan Howell, he's all right. He's only got a National A licence. His attributes are fine. Not a very good coach. So that's the first team management team. We've got an okay head of youth development. Sort of average, good personality, fairly sporting personality. That's all right. But yeah, it's just a bit wishy-washy. The staff. Under 23s manager Don Brown, been here a while now, I think. He's not bad actually. Tyler Crane. We've got some okay and some good coaches, I think. Goalkeeping coaches average. We've got John Stott as the fitness coach. He's also average. Shane Presland as the fitness. He's average too. So mainly average coaches. This chap's quite good. I was intending him to be our assistant originally, but I accidentally signed him as an under-18s coach. Shane Reed is a under-18s coach. Now he's actually quite good. He's Continental Pro licence. He should be improving those under-18s with the coaching he's providing. Josh Preston's a good coach in terms of defending mentals. Good at working with youngsters. He's determined. I quite like him, and he's a model citizen as well, which is always good. So I think he's a good coach. Billy Barron, good mentals, tactical. I think he's good. Continental Pro licence. I think he's a good coach as well. So there are some decent ones. Head physio's strong, 15 physiotherapy, and actually Dean Robinson's an even better physio because he's got 18 on physiotherapy. Chief Scout, I definitely need to improve that. I don't even know why he is Chief Scout over Chris Cameron, who's a better scout, and Gary Jones. So I'm definitely going to try and get a better Chief Scout. And we've still got the same board from when Jack Young sold the club. It's a long time ago now. They've gone through the hard times. They've ridden the storm. Financially, we're in a better position. They've pumped a lot of money into the club, to be fair to them, when required. So they must have a bit of money. They don't throw it at us. But when we've gone sort of down to about 500 grand in debt, they've pumped money in, and it's been fine. But we'll have to see if they stick around forever. We might get bought out again. But other than that, I think we'll end it there. Thank you for watching this Revelations video. First half showed you what's going on in the Regen Rovers universe. Second half talked about the club, talked about the players, talked about me as a manager. If there's anything else you want to know in detail, then I can do another Revelations video. Like I said, maybe I'll do a best first 11 and 7 substitutes video at some point. Maybe end of next season. Perhaps when we get to the Premier League. that could be a good thing. Although the Championship, we might get stuck in the Championship for years, so it would be interesting to see the best 11 right now, I suppose. So maybe I'll do that sooner rather than later. But I hope you're looking forward to our first season in the Championship. It's going to be a big one. The team will look very different, I think. There's plenty of players leaving, so I need to replace them. So it should look very different. And hopefully we'll be in a very strong position financially this time next season after a year of Championship football. But until next time, enjoy FM19, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon.